But the thing about sales is that it gives you the hard reality of how business is made.
Yeah.
You know, when I look at 15 years ago when I was in a sales role, like I'm still in sales even up to today. But when I look at 15 years when I was in that junior role, I was so unsure about so many things. Everyone's first job should be a sales job. Again, there are no correct answers here. There are no wrong answers. They're just opinions.
Let me tell you a story. In my senior 6, I think, in straight after UNEB. So we are fresh in vacation. One of my sisters, elder sister, she was fresh out of uni. She had done at MOOC. And you know, she was a fashionista, I don't know what, you know, hip and fly, those things. So I'm in VAC, fresh out of uni for her. Man, we saw a job advertised in the papers. I was actually the one who gave a heads up. I was like, wait, have you seen that thing? They need salespeople. Let's go. We applied. The office was somewhere on, is it called Old Kampala Road? And the company, I won't mention the name of the company, but
We should
that
investigate.
but that company, wait, let me tell you, I went there and I started doing sales. My sister quit in under 2 hours. We started together.
Oh wow.
Let me tell you, she quit in under 2 hours from when she started. We started together. Now me, man, I hustled, and after 2 weeks, my battery ran out as well. And I quit after 2 weeks. But the first day, I remember, went out to the field, you know, with your mentor, you know, your upline, if I may call it that. And you know, they were selling as you're watching and listening and stuff. Then the next day, man, you're now launching out in the deep solos.
Wow.
I combed through Kampala. My God, I combed through Kampala.
What?
And you know, we're selling products. You know those things. I don't know, torches, hangers, what?
Moving shop.
And like this.
But you are not a hawker. You're a moving shop.
You know, like there's a sentence they are using these days, and the sales in me. And the money is
Oh God.
The money was mere.
I tell you, had to be dressed to kill, tie,
Oh
what,
Lord.
crazy stuff.
Polish that shoe.
The first day, I locked in sales of, I think, 200K. Man, I was like, yeah, you're the guy.
Got
That's
it.
cool, right?
You're the guy. You're the guy. The following day, I think I brought in like 60K. Day 3, man, the struggle began.
Of diminishing returns.
Now, fast forward, I am done with uni. I have done poetry, and then I took a break due to a very, very unfortunate incident that I suffered. And then I woke up to the realization that I needed a lifeline. And so I decided to find a sales job again. Something that because I was very happy and comfortable just being my own, you know, whatnot. I wind up at that company that I was telling you guys about. Nete byali byangu. So I went combing through. The weekly facilitation would not come. When it comes like after 5 weeks. But you're expected to give proper reports. Man, that's when I started cooking reports.
You're like a bad NGO worker.
Let me tell you, man, I became a master at flipping. Like I would flip. I flip numbers, flip company names, flip reports.
One day asking you for actual sales.
So what's the rationale? everyone's first job should be a sales job or not?
No, I think for the experience of it,
Yeah.
everyone needs to walk in the shoes of a salesman.
Let's come to
I agree with the last statement. Just so that, because, you know, eventually, every business is about selling.
Thank you.
Bottom line. And if you're going to be an accountant, or you're going to be the lawyer of the firm, you need to know what pays you. But not to say that these other departments can't get creative and bring in money. But at the end of the day, that guy who brings in the money needs some respect. My first job was a sales job. I was recruited out of the university dinner. Yeah? And I worked for 3 months. I never got paid for 3 months. But I totally enjoyed the 3 months. I know that I was living in Chisasi, working in Muyenga. I was told you have to report, you have to be in Muyenga 8 sharp. You know? I was not a border guy, I didn't even have the money for the borders, so I needed to get up in time, get myself there in time. Because if I was late, I wouldn't get the facilitation. It was very little, but it meant that I wasn't using my money to go to work and back. I got very good training. I hope that other people, you clearly didn't. I got some really, really, really impressive training. It pushed me. It has, up to today, I use it. Yeah. So I was lucky like that. But for my first job, one of the things I appreciate the most about it is I'd start at 8, and then I would basically be done at 5, do my reporting, you know, like, so you're back at office, say, like at 4, because you had to do that reporting. And then remember that you're in Muyenga, you live in Chisasi, and the jam has always been there. So I one of my fondest memories of sales is me getting to Chisasi, sitting on the sofa, my family, we have a chat, and then I would wake up at around 3 a.m. In the chair. They left me there in the chair. Like, it was so draining, but it taught me something about work, that, my friend, it is not your mother's company. And when you remove the negative, it's not your mother or your father's company. It tells you that, hey, if you can work like that for someone else, you better be able to work like that for yourself. But it's also the right attitude towards work. Work shouldn't exploit you, it shouldn't be toxic. But work is not a game. I think that a lot of what I hear nowadays seems to make us think that work is some kind of game that you get part of. Work isn't a game, man. And sales, I don't know what other job can tell you that, like sales.
Exactly.
Wow.
Actually, I concur, for lack of a better word. Technically, I concur with everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone's first job should be a sales job.
Oh, it's making us weak. Sales. Kaya ngamba. Muvuka. Okolo gwa batasoma.
But let me tell you,
Okolo gwa batasoma.
there is very few jobs
Yeah.
that will humble you
Yeah.
as much as a sales job. But there is probably no job as rewarding
As
as a sales job at the
incidentally,
highest level.
for an introvert, one
Okay,
of the other experiences was meeting people. I had permission to walk into people's offices. Sales gives you that. Like you can decide that today I am going to meet the Prime Minister, and you will experience how hard it is to find.
Well, for me,
Yeah.
back to this thing,
Yes.
it's a yes and a no for me. It's
Okay.
a yes because I carry a bit of it. You know, when you're fresh from school, fresh from uni, there is this thing that you're going to get a job in the area you studied, and you're going to go to this office. Yes, you can get in there, but when you get in, you take longer to develop certain attributes, you know? But the thing about sales is that it gives you the hard reality of how business is made. You know, when I look at 15 years ago when I was in a sales role, like I'm still in sales even up to today. But when I look at 15 years when I was in that junior role, I was so unsure about so many things. I felt a bit trapped that in this thing I have to sell this. I was doing insurance, and man, if you've not sold insurance in Kampala, then you've not been in sales, you know.
Insurance.
And things are just not adding up, you know. You're working for commission, but the experience wasn't that nice, but it actually shaped me into someone more resilient, you know. And anyone who starts in sales, by the time you start dreaming of starting your own thing, you kind of permitted. But on the other way, on another end, I might say that it's not a must, you know. If you're lucky that you studied what people call professions, you know those professions, mania, doctors, whatever, you can still just get a job and be there and work in a company that already has an organized sales team and all that. But however, the fact remains is that people who have been in sales, they have a high chance of thriving in various environments, you know. Next on the list is every company needs an Indian boss. Where do we start from?
First of all, for me, I've never
Every
had,
company needs
You've
a
never had
Patel.
an Indian boss?
I've never had a Patel as a boss. But but man, just for the seasoning of it, I have seen the way Indians work. It's crazy. So when I go down to Nassau Road every once in a while, there's this particular shop. It's weird. You see how long that Nassau Street is? Combine it with Nkrumah Road. Double them up. There's this particular shop where if you're looking for supplies, everyone is going to tell you, go to that shop, go to that shop. But there are other Ugandan shops that are selling the same exact products. But for some reason, this Indian is the one that is selling. His prices are a tidbit low, and then he works with such efficiency. It's crazy. And I think that is an embodiment of who Indians really are in terms of their work ethic. They understand numbers so religiously, and they grind it out like it's the last day before Judgment Day. That's what I see about them, even just from mere observation. But I've heard, for you guys who have worked with Indians, I've heard that those ninjas be with, I don't know, Krishna, I don't know what, those little gods.
What's the name of the elephant? Is it called elephant?
Whatever.
I don't
Maybe
they
that's
have
why.
corners like so. I hear their money is for sweating. Muzifuna, zifumuka. So, but man, you guys should educate me because this may be hearsay.
I don't actually have an experience working for an Indian. I've worked in the same company with some. I've only experienced them maybe as like a supplier. But when you work
What were
with
they
them,
like?
oh, you guy. Imagine you buy supplies from an Indian once or twice, and then they hear that they ask you, oh, where's your company? Oh, workshop is at this place. I'm like, oh, okay. And then one day after you've disappeared for a month, the guy calls you and tells, where did you say your company is? Around here. Hey, okay, I'm around that corner turn. And lo and behold, Patel has shown up. And he remembers the last time you came to see me,
Yes.
you bought paint, and you bought this particular chemical, and you bought this much sanding paper. And his motorbike has these items. And he says, brother, take, you pay when you want. You pay when you come. You know, because he knows you visit him like 2-3 times every month. So he's brought you this one, preempting your next visit. He knows this is what you usually buy. He's like, do you need? You take. What? Don't worry. And man, when that happened, blew my mind.
Now you see, what you guys are saying, it's from an entrepreneur's point of view. It's a joy to work with them.
Yes.
But this statement is, every company needs an Indian boss. You know, where I am now, I have an Indian that has sorted me when it comes to gadgets like computers. Like I can just dial my phone and make a phone call and I'll get a computer delivered. And the guy will say, you will pay when you will pay. Now that's the joy. But I think this statement that every company needs an Indian boss is rooted in the fact that there is a way when it comes to work, in the face of an Indian, it is work. When they happen to be a boss and a team leader, the thing they feel in them like it is work, they are not shameless to demand it from you. And I think you said that these guys are good with numbers. These guys, it's like something, it is within their DNA. They were wired for this. Like it flows well with them. You know, they tend to be, what I feel like, it's a yes and a no. You know, ideally I feel like every company just needs a good boss. But the thing that made people think that every company needs an Indian boss is that these guys are no-nonsense people because they're operating in an environment that has no-sense people. You get no-sense people who will tell you that it is raining when it's actually drizzling. No-sense people who will tell you that they are sick when they got a stomach upset.
Isn't it interesting that we think about them as business people, and then when you see how movies and media in the West stereotypes them, they think of them as mathematicians, IT specialists.
No, you know, Indians took a shape wherever they went. When the Indians came in Uganda here, they came in the area of slave trade and whatever trade, what, that's it. Now, when the Indians went in other places where trade was not the thing, they became geeks. You get, so Indians are kind of like that. But for us who have been in this African society, they came here to run companies, they came here to put things in order. They came here, I think they came knowing where they're coming from, and it has been like a no-nonsense experience. So for most people who have trouble with Indian bosses are people who are lazy, people who don't want to work, people who don't want to, someone who is always around them and telling them what to do. But the unfortunate part of the story is in any workplace, there are those guys who really want to be paid, but they don't want to work. They just want to be paid. They also want to work, but they want to work about 30% and then get 100%. Now, in an Indian-driven
80-20, 20-80 rule,
in an Indian-driven enterprise,
yes,
these guys tend to spot out those guys immediately, and they don't want to argue. The plan is not to fire you. Their plan is to make you work. And if you don't want to go, you're the one who fires yourself. They rarely fire, but they will make you do the job. And I think they were wired. I was talking to one Indian friend. They have a big business in Kampala, and he said that his dad told him that his dad would bring him to office, and he tells him that, you see all these people seated here, they're here to steal. You have to be careful. They're all conniving to steal. So this guy was brought up thinking that all these guys who are working here, they're going to. So he became a bit more zero trust. He smiles with you, but he's interested in the results. And when the results are not coming, he's going to push for the results. And then this guy tells me that he was trained to believe that when you push them, they also have a stereotype about us, by the way. that these guys can work when you push them. And if you've, I don't know whether you've heard that statement in the corridors that Ugandans they push.
You've taken me back to slave trade. Are we just good slaves? As Africans generally. I mean, people have...
So I think the thing of stereotypes is still working. The stereotype here is that every company needs a good boss.
Yeah.
But the stereotype to the Indians is that these niggers are actually good at working. But the thing about them is that you need an eye. If you've worked in an Indian company, there's always this guy who is always looking around like this, just following you.
Even the
Yeah,
supermarkets,
yeah,
actually.
technically looking around like this. I have a supermarket that I normally go to at Acacia Mall area, and there is always this guy who does nothing, but he's like a human surveillance camera.
You
But-
can feel their eye without touching.